Hey, what's up guys, it's Silver Slayer. Welcome back for another video. So today I wanted to talk about the history of gold, and gold in particular. I enjoy precious metals in an overall, universal mind state. So I don't want to just always talk about silver. I do enjoy gold, and I would love to stack gold. Just the gold to silver ratio is still a bit out of whack to me. 70 to 1 is extremely high. I'm gonna wait till about 40 to 1 until I start dipping into gold. So if you guys ever wanted to know why I don't really buy gold that much, that is why. I still will buy the fractionals here and there. Like, I'm gonna start picking up some more 10th ounce gold pieces. As you guys know, if you guys have saw my stacking goals video I did, my goal is to have 1 ounce of gold by the end of the year. So I'm still gonna buy it, but with the ratio 70 to 1 and it comes out the ground nearly 9 to 1, and knowing the ratio to gold to silver and all that, silver's definitely a much better buy right now. So I just feel more comfortable putting my money into silver. But anyways, this is an article I found on onlygold.com, and I'm just gonna read this little history, this little brief history story that they put up about gold. I read it. I briefly read over it. I enjoy it because it talks about more than just gold itself. It shows some stories. It talks about when people started using it as monetary value, all that, and compares it to humans and time and several different civilizations and how they used it. So I really thought this would be a great piece to share with you guys. So guess let's start. A brief history of gold. Who discovered gold? A child finds a shiny rock in a creek thousands of years ago, and the human race is introduced to the first gold in all time. Gold was first discovered as a shining yellow nugget. Gold is where you find it, so the saying goes. And gold was the first discovered in its natural state, in streams all over the world. No doubt it was the first metal known to early hominids. Gold became a part of every human culture. Its brilliance, natural beauty and luster, and its great malleability and resistance to tarnish made it enjoyable to work and play with. Where does gold come from? Because gold is dispersed widely through the geologic world, its discovery occurred to many different groups in many different locales, and nearly everyone who found it was impressed with it. And so was the developing culture in which they lived. Gold was the first metal widely known to our species. When thinking about the historical progress of technology, we consider that development of iron and copper working as the greatest contributions to our species' economic and cultural progress, but gold came first. Gold is the easiest of the metals to work. It occurs in virtually pure and workable states, whereas most other metals tend to be found in ore bodies that pose some difficulty smelting. Gold's early uses were no doubt ornamental in its brilliance and permanence. It neither corrodes nor tarnishes, linking it to its deities and royal and early civilizations. Gold has always been powerful stuff. The earliest history of human interaction with gold is long lost to us, but its association with the gods, with immortality, and with wealth itself are common to many cultures throughout the world. Early civilizations equated gold with gods and rulers. Humans almost intuitively place a high value on gold, equating it with power, beauty, and the cultural elite. And since gold is widely distributed all over the globe, we find this same thinking about gold throughout ancient and modern civilizations everywhere. Gold, beauty, and power have always gone together. Gold in ancient times was made into shrines and idols. The golden calf, plates, cups, vases, vessels of all kinds, and of course jewelry for personal adornment. The gold of Troy treasure hoard, excavated in Turkey and dating to the era of 2450 between 2450 and 2600 BC, show the range of gold work from delicate jewelry to a gold gravy boat weighing a full Troy pound. This was a time when gold was highly valued, but had not yet become money itself. Rather, it was owned by the powerful and well-connected, or made into objects of worship, or used to decorate sacred locations. Gold has always had value to humans. Keyword in that is always, and still does, even before it was money. This was demonstrated by the extraordinary efforts made to obtain it. Prospecting for gold was a worldwide effort going back thousands of years, even before the first money in the form of gold coins appeared about 700 BC. In the quest for gold by the Phoenicians, Egyptians, Indians, Hittites, the Hittites, Chinese, and others, prisoners of war were sent to the mines and were slaves as criminals. And as this happened during a time when gold had no value as money, but was considered a desirable commodity in and of itself, intrinsic value. The value of gold was accepted all over the world. Today, as in ancient times, the intrinsic appeal, there it goes. I didn't even know I was going to mention that, but that's what we're talking about. Today, as in ancient times, the intrinsic appeal of gold itself has that universal appeal to humans. But how did gold come to a commodity, a measurable unit of actual value? Gold measured out became money. Gold's beauty, scarcity, unique density, no other metal outside of platinum group is as heavy, and the ease by which it could be melted, formed, and measured made it a natural trading medium. Gold gave rise to the concept of money itself, portable, private, and permanent. Gold and silver and standardized coins came to replace barter arrangements and made trade into the classic period much easier. Gold was money in ancient Greece. The Greeks mined for gold throughout the Mediterranean and Middle East regions by 550 BC, and both Plato and Aristotle wrote about gold and had theories about its origins. Gold was associated with water, logical since most of it was found in streams, and was supposed that gold was a particularly dense combination of water and sunlight. That's interesting. The Incas referred to gold as tears of the sun. Homer, in the Iliad and the Odyssey, makes mention of gold as the glory of immortals and a sign of wealth among ordinary humans. In Genesis 2:10 through 12, we learn that the river of Pison in Eden and the land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. As far back as 3100 BC, we have evidence of a gold-silver value ratio in the Code of Means, the founder of the first Egyptian dynasty. In this code, it stated that 1 part of gold is equal to 2.5 parts of silver in value. Now that's very interesting, because now we see the gold to silver ratio over 70 to 1, and now they are saying this ratio is nearly 2.5 to 1. This is our earliest value relationship between gold and silver. Now you would think it has something to do with how much it comes out the ground, where it comes out the ground nearly 9 to 1, but they're saying it's nearly 2.5 to 1, but in money, in today's terms, the value is nearly 70 to 1. So this is, just some more reason why we think that silver is a much better buy, since, 70 to 1 is really high. It shouldn't take 70 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold, because I feel like the value is a lot closer than gold being worth 70 times as much as silver. I just don't see it. So I think at least it should be around 40 to 1 range before I start, but I still think they're both just as valuable compared to each other. And this article definitely, shows that and gives some reasons, which is really cool. But anyways, in ancient Egypt, around the time of Seti, 1320 BC, we find the creation of the first gold treasure map now known to us. Today, in the Turin Museum, is a papyrus and fragments known as the Carte des Mines d'Or. It pictures gold mines, miners' quarters, roads leading to the mines, and gold-bearing mountains, and so on. Where is that gold mine located? Well, you know how it is with treasure maps. There's always something a little vague about them to throw you off the trail. Modern, though, it portrays the Wadi Fawarkin region, which is the El Cid gold mine, is located, but the matter is far from settled. Jason and the Argonauts sought the Gold Fleece around 1200 BC. That Greek myth that more sense when you realize that the fleece that refers to it's the sheep's fleece is used in recovery of fine placer gold. Early miners would use water power to propel gold-bearing sand over the hide of a sheep, which would trap the tiny but heavy flakes of gold. When the fleece has absorbed all it could hold, the gold fleece was hung to dry, and when the gold was beaten gently to that gold, the fall would fall and be recovered. So they use sheepskin as basically, a form of recovering gold, kind of like a mining, mining for gold. How they have the I can't think of the name right now. There's a specific name for it when it's on the tray and you're in rivers and you push it down the tray and all of the gold falls to the bottom. I can't think of the name right now, but they use sheepskin for that, which is pretty cool. Just another way to mine in primitive days. So anyways, the primitive form of hydraulic mining began thousands of years ago and was still being used by some miners as recently as the California gold rush of 1849. The first use of gold as money occurred around 700 BC. When the Lydian merchants produced the first coins, they were simply stated stamped lumps as 63% gold and 27% silver mixture known as electrum. And standardized unit of value no doubt helped Lydian traders in their wide-ranging successes, for by the first time of Croesus in the Mermende, the last king of Lydia, between 570 and 546 BC, Lydia had amassed a huge hoard of gold. Today we still speak of the ultra-wealthy as being rich as Croesus. Their science may have been primitive, but the Greeks learned much about their practicalities of gold mining. By the time of the death of Alexander of Macedon, 323 BC, the Greeks had mined gold from the Pillars of Hercules, Gibraltar, all the way to the eastward of Asia Minor and Egypt. We find the traces of their placer mines today. Some of the mines were owned by the state, some were worked privately with a royalty paid to the state. Also nomads such as Scythians and Cimmerians worked placer mines all over the region. Surviving Greek gold and coinage, Scythian jewelry both show superb artistry. The Roman Empire furthered the quest for gold. The Romans mined gold extensively throughout their empire and advanced the science of gold mining considerably. They diverted streams of water to mine hydraulically and built sluices. That's what it's called, a sluice. And they built sluices in the first along Toms. They mined underground, also introduced water wheels and roasting of gold-bearing ores to separate gold from rock. They were able to more efficiently exploit old mine sites, and of course their chief laborers were prisoners of war, slaves, and convicts. Now this just shows the power of gold and what people are willing to do to own it, since they know its true value. And people have held this value for thousands of years, and still till today gold is the top tier of value. When you think of any type of value, of real value in the world, you think of gold first. Trophies, you get first place, it's always gold. With rappers and luxury and that fashion fancy lifestyle, you think of gold. You think of gold chains, the color gold. It still has this obsessive value so many years later, and there's a reason for that. And you know, with the paper dollar, it's so clear to tell which is going to last in the long run. A dollar-based, you know, currency with banknotes has never worked. Gold and silver has always, it's the only thing that has always worked and always had value. So it's just interesting when you look at it in perspectives like that. A monetary standard made the world economy possible. The concept of money, example gold and silver in standard weight and finessing coins, allowed the world's economies to expand and prosper. During the classic period of Greek and Roman rule in the Western world, gold and silver both flowed to India for spices and China for silk. At the height of the empire, AD 98 through 160, Roman gold and silver coins reigned from Britain to North Africa and Egypt. Money had been invented. Its name was gold. Now that is where, you know, that's basically where everything played off from there. When gold was then deemed as money, then, you know, all these sovereigns, the coins came out, and people started using gold for trade, for trade and value. And you know, it's history from there on. You know, that's where mints came out, and the power of gold definitely took over until we stopped backing the gold standard and we used dollar bills. We used these dollar bills instead. These dollar bills that have no real value in them. You know, it even talked about intrinsic value in the reading. You know, not even the you know, just the actual value of the coins or the value of the metal, but the actual metal content inside of the value that people put on it as well. So just because this piece of paper says $20 on it, you know, there's nothing inside this piece of paper that's worth $20. This isn't a $20 you know, piece of paper. The paper just says $20. Where with gold, you know, this says a 1/10 ounce of gold and actually has a 1/10 ounce of gold in it, which is actually a 1/10 ounce of value. So it's just the, you know, that's actual value versus basically fake money. And so there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that article. I thought it was really interesting. Just wanted to share something a little different with you guys. I might start doing this, you know, if I find a very interesting article with a lot of information, you know, I could just share it with you guys and read it off because I thought it was pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next video. I will see you guys very soon. Thanks. Peace.